Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jen Novotny and David Dollar.
Well, hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. And happy Thanksgiving, because today is Thanksgiving on the day this is released. And
That
so
is
people
true,
are
it
listening to
is.
it. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And in the studio, or across the wire, across the Zoom call, or whatever we want to call it, we've got on the show, of course, two of our favorites. This is our little podcast crew. First, the Moana Mom, a.k.a. the quasi-producer of the show. Full producer, but we say quasi because it's fun to say. That would be hello, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome into the show. And of course, the fan favorite, Kyla. That is Kyla up there in New Hampshire. I almost said Vermont. New Hampshire. Is it cold there yet?
Who's in Vermont?
Hello, David.
I can't tell them apart. Vermont, New Hampshire, whatever. So
Dude, we have seacoast. They don't.
It's funny though, because honestly, I lived probably 45 years without really like being able to tell the difference between the two. Like I knew I couldn't figure out which one was Vermont, which one was New Hampshire. I just never could remember.
Yeah,
Then
Maine,
I met
Vermont,
you, and
New
I'm like,
Hampshire.
now I know which one New Hampshire is. So I get it. So you helped me. So
Cold.
thank you.
Yeah, it's freezing. It was like 32 degrees this morning, and I still went for my walk. So yay me.
Nice.
Good for you.
Very good. Heather, we'll start with you. How did you Disney this week?
I Disneyed this week because I just picked out our outfits this morning for the Moana 2 preview tonight.
Fun times.
Yay.
Fun times.
Going
Of course,
tonight.
Moana 2, of course, kicking off tomorrow. You get to go to the preview tonight, which is exciting. You're going to be a blubbering mess all the way through the episode, I'm sure. And Kyla, how did you Disney this week?
I started packing for our trip next week.
Next week. I can't wait to start packing on Monday for my trip on Tuesday. I leave on Tuesday. I'm excited.
No, that's
Like
right.
the
You got your one early.
Palpitations that you pack so close to your trip when I start like 3 weeks ahead of time.
Oh, I've actually been on the phone with Jen packing when I leave in like 2 hours or like an hour.
That
like, they're gonna
stresses
pick me up
me
in an hour and a
out.
half. And she's like, "Are you done?" I'm like, "No, I just started putting stuff in the suitcase." And she's freaking out on the phone. I'm like, "It'll
What
be
are you
fine.
doing?
Be all right. Be fine." So I'm a dude. I can throw everything together pretty fast. It's not.
No, you
I
can't.
I don't have a toiletry bag with 74 items in it. I'm like toothbrush, razor.
I mean,
comb,
is
whatever-
it too soon
whatever-
for me to
like,
say this
yeah.
is why we forget tennis shoes?
That's different though. That's different. That's why I have Crocs. So I can't wait to see them next week. It'll be fun next week.
I can't
Which
wait to
Kyla
not see
approved.
them.
Kyla
No.
approved them.
I did not.
She did. She did. It's on the episode. It is on the episode. Jen, how did you Disney this week?
Well, aside from starting to pull together stuff for next week when I leave, I am drinking out of my Space Mountain Tomorrowland mug. This was a few years ago. Look at that.
Very nice. Very nice. That's old school. Old school, like
That
a few
is old
years ago,
school,
but-
and I love it.
but-
Well, but pre-COVID, which is old school now.
Now, is it starting to get colder there now in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, in the
I mean,
Pittsburgh area?
it snowed for 2 days straight, so yeah.
So yes. Well, I can't ask
So
that to
yes.
Heather because Heather's like, it's freezing. It's like 61 outside. I don't have cold.
I can't. She's like, I'm so cold. I gotta wear a parka. Oh my gosh! And I'm like, Heather,
I can't roll my
you were
eyes.
in Pennsylvania.
They get so nasty in the text messages to me whenever I say it. I'm like, okay, I'm removing myself from this situation.
I don't
I
even
mean,
in
I
such a
remember-
toxic environment.
She
I
feels
remember when I used to walk in flip-flops in the snow, but I'm just telling you, like, the blood levels have changed. It is cold, people.
It's 56 this morning, and I've actually gone into the closet and starting pulling out the long sleeves and the Disney sweatshirts and stuff, throwing them in the wash because they've been packed away for a year, so I got to wash them, And so, but now today, of course, I have on my Kermit shirt, which I'm wearing specifically for this episode. And my kid has a birthday on Sunday. He'll be 13, by the way. And
How
Oh
did
my
that happen?
god!
for his birthday, we asked him. We asked him several years ago, would you rather have a party with all your friends or would you rather go to Disney? And of course, he's going to say Disney. So we don't do parties for him. We just take him to Disney once a year for his first birthday trip. And so this year, and thankfully he's not in the hallway listening. But this year for his birthday, we are getting him his first piece of luggage. He's been eyeing a Marvel suitcase for the longest time. So we're going to get it for him on Sunday, and he's going to get to pack it on Monday for his trip on Tuesday, because we're all going down Tuesday as a family. And then, of course, you guys will come down. So I'll be with my other family, be with the greatest people in the world, and Kyla, which will be awesome. And so get to hang out with you guys. And so I'll be kind of doing the family thing and then the other family thing and back and forth. So it'll be fun. But Kermit is a good segue to what we're going to talk about today. Two things.
Yes.
One, we'll talk about some thankful stuff later. It's Thanksgiving. We want to give thanks and have some fun with that whole concept. But dropping on us last week, Disney dropped something out of, I guess it was Friday, just out of the blue. There it was. Boom. We now know what's going to happen with Monsters Land, which everybody kind of suspected. Everybody was crossing their fingers, hoping it's going to go into Launch Bay, because why wouldn't it, right? Launch Bay is empty. Nobody goes into Launch Bay.
Yeah.
You can move that stuff to wherever, put it in Launch Bay. Nope, they're going to put it in the Muppet Courtyard. Now, of course, Disney anticipated the backlash for that, because they already had backlash, because people were suspecting it might go there. So Disney announced they're going to put the Muppets over into Rock and Roller Coaster, retheme that, which I think is a great idea. We'll get to all that in a second. But I guess here's the question for the whole group. Good idea, bad idea. What do we love about this? What do we not like about this? Let's discuss this, because this has been a topic of conversation, probably much more than Disney thought it would be. Across everybody. Everybody has strong opinions, but I want you to notice one thing that nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about Monsters Inc. Everybody's talking about Muppets. So they're talking about Monsters Inc. is going there, and they had the rendering and like, okay, this is where things might go. But nobody's talking about the door coaster, which I think is going to be incredible, and the Harryhausen's.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about the Muppets. The Muppets. Heather, I want to get your take on this first, because I know that you see things in a way that a lot of people don't see it in terms of Disney, in terms of planning, in terms of future. So just your overall thoughts. Good idea, bad idea, home run, in third, triple. I mean, almost there. What do you think?
I think it is an excellent idea, and I am of differing opinions of David and Jen. We know this. I'm a fan of Muppet Babies. I love Muppet Babies.
That's
the
good.
Muppets 3D show. I know that it's the last thing that Jim Henson worked on, correct? Right before he sold it to Disney.
It is.
Yes.
Yep.
And everybody's like, oh my gosh, you can't get rid of it. It's iconic. And I'm just like, it needs updated. Like something needs to happen, because kids nowadays don't do it. So I always look at it from a heart perspective, and them making Rock and Roller Coaster now a Muppets themed coaster. Here's what it's going to do. It is going to introduce the Muppets to a whole new generation. And before anybody says, well, that's what the show could have done. Imagine your 6-year-old getting on their first coaster, right? And they're so nervous, and they're standing in the little preview and say like Animal and the band and all that are talking. And the kids have never heard of Muppets before. And they're just like, Dad, Mom, like, what are the Muppets? The mom and dad start telling a story about how they grew up with Muppets in the movies and blah, 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 blah. Okay. They're having a bonding moment. Nobody is on their phones. The child gets on the coaster and is like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. Walks out, full merch in the store to like promote Muppets even more, t-shirts galore, everything possible. That child goes home and is like, my first coaster was Muppets. I want to learn more about it because of what you were talking about in line, and logs on to Disney Plus and is like, show me all the Muppet stuff. I think this is great for generations to keep the Muppets alive for a whole new generation to experience.
Okay. Well, first of all, your first coaster being Rock and Roller Coaster, that's a bit extreme. I think
It is.
Barnstormer probably should be your
I'm saying
first
like
one.
big coaster.
Yeah, big coaster. Okay, I take
First
it.
big coaster.
Mhm.
Maybe
I'm like
upside,
the-
maybe first upside down.
Upside
coaster?
down.
Yes.
Come on, my
Like upside down.
5-year-old, get on the coaster. So yeah, a little bit, but Kyla, your thoughts on it? I know you don't care about the Muppets that much, as far as that.
I mean, I loved the show. I loved Muppets as a kid. Like Frank and I loved Animal. Like, like it's hilarious. I think this is a great idea. And what I find funny is that I just saw on a blog yesterday that the new Muppets poster is the reincarnation of the
recreation.
Aerosmith in the car. And I didn't think about that initially, but I saw it yesterday. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's so crazy. Why isn't this like on more blogs? Also, your shirt looks like you're in 3D.
Muppet Vision 3D.
I think this is going to be great. I will miss the show. I love the show. I'm kind of more upset about Mama Melrose, but I know I'm in the minority there.
True story. No, true story though.
I'm totally in the minority. I love that restaurant. because it's so easy and like hashtag
agreed.
basic. But it's good every time.
Right.
David, I know you have differing opinions, but I think the roller coaster is going to be so much fun, and I'm excited to see what they do. Like, is it like a Guardians thing where you don't know what song you're going to get when you get
nobody
on?
knows anything yet. Nobody knows anything yet.
Like, what artists are they going to partner with? Like, what song are you going to get? I think it's going to be like a Guardians, or like what Aerosmith was before. You don't know what song you get until you're on it, and I think that's going to be so fun.
And probably September will be a part of it, and that'll be the one song that I won't get. And I can't wait for them to release the playlist and for Kyla to call me and go, "What the crap? All these songs to choose from, and they chose these 6. These 6 suck." I mean, that's pretty much happening.
And then we're going to do another podcast episode on what songs we would have chosen.
2 years after Guardians opens, every time we go on Guardians, I still hear Kyla go, "The whole universe of songs, they picked these 6."
Every time. I'm so mad about it.
So much anger.
Jen, your thoughts on Muppets, monsters, moving, all that good stuff?
So like everybody else, I mean, there is a piece of me that's sad because I grew up I remember watching Muppet Vision 3D when it first opened, right? And like all the special effects were like, so, oh my gosh, you know, because I was there like the year Hollywood Studios opened. And it's funny because Brady and I talked about it because, you know, Brady obviously grew up with the Muppet Show and different things, and he remembers, but we were both, I think a few years ago, he's like, I really need to refurbish this one because like, you know, if you look outside, the clothes and the balloons and everything is not, you know, we still loved it. It's still great. It was still a great family attraction. I love the key under the doormat and all the like kitschy, like Muppety jokes, but I am fully good with this refurb. If they were just getting rid of Muppets, this would be an entirely different conversation. I'll be mad. I would be like, nope, that is not what this was designed for. And I would have been like highly mad. But the fact I believe, David, correct me if I'm wrong. On this episode, did we not talk about retheming rides? And did we not talk about retheming Rock and Roller Coaster to
I told you,
Muppets?
Disney listens to this podcast.
They have to, because I know that was the one thing I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be mad if they did that. If we're not going to have Aerosmith, I would accept Muppets. That would be 100% fine. And here we are, and I'm good. So I'm like, this is great. I think there's a ton of you know, and I know they have the costumes. Yep. I'm just saying, I know they've got the costumes because I have pictures of them. So here, and yes, I'm excited for Monsters, but Muppets has my heart more than Monsters just because of when I grew up. So
because we grew up with Muppets.
We grew up with Muppets.
Monsters is not our childhood, although it's cute.
Correct.
Like
it's cute, and I like it, and I'm excited.
It's gonna be a great coaster. That door coaster.
It's gonna be so good.
And it's a concept they had, you know, like 2001 before the recession. That's what they were going to do.
And before it was possible to do.
And exactly. And Muppet Vision 3D. It's really it goes into that vein of like Maelstrom, where people love it and they love the idea of it. They love the fact that it's there, but it's not something people went to all the time because nobody ever waits for Muppet Vision 3D unless you go, unless it's like a holiday or something. Then you might wait the length of one show. So it's not as if Disney is saying, okay, we're going to get rid of Tower of Terror and, you know, build a new something. I mean, like it's Muppet Vision 3D. And so, yes, I'm more in the loss of this because this was one of the things Jen was working on. Because they were going to do a whole Muppets area. We actually did a podcast on the whole thing, a whole Muppets land of what could be. Jim Henson died. The Henson Company, Walt and Michael Eisner got into a fight. You know, all that just kind of fell apart. So really, we have Muppet Vision. That's all we have, and of course the Piggy Fountain and Pizza Rizzo, which everybody hates. I actually like it. And
I actually don't think it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Fine.
I mean, I don't.
Dave Portnoy gave it a 7.
He gave it a 7.
He gave it a 7.
And they have a good allergy. They have pizzas for people who have all the allergies. An entire pizza they will make you like dairy free.
I think it's so cute.
So it's great.
It's so cute.
I could care less about Mama Melrose. I don't care at all. But I will say this, and Heather, this goes to Heather's, because when you talk about Disney, Heather's always like, Disney has a plan. Disney has a plan. This is, of course, probably why they did not open that great Muppet merch store, which is right there on the corner, because they knew that this was coming.
Probably.
My theory is, and Heather will yell at me if you need to, that's fine. My theory is that Disney had a plan to put Monsters Inc. in this area all along. And the reason they didn't announce it, because I don't think they anticipated the backlash that people were like, is Muppets going away? And people were freaking out about it. So I think Disney was like, okay, we got to do something else with Muppets. Oh, look, Steven Tyler has some allegations against him. what if we do this then? What a great, why don't we take this opportunity? His misfortune is our good luck. And so, they move it over. I really think I would, and they haven't announced it yet. They haven't alluded to it yet. They've said we're coming up with creative ways to preserve Muppet Vision. Which again, I think is their reaction to, oh, you people really love Muppet Vision, don't you? Holy crap. Okay, so we're going to come up with a way to preserve it. I would love to see them pick it up and put it over in that little theater beside where the show is. I know a villain show is going in there now, but that villain show is always going to be temporary, for what I gather. Just erase the villain show. Just don't even do the villain show at this point. Just put Muppets straight. Just move it over there before you even open up the coaster. Put Muppets there, and that. At least you have it. And I don't know the ins and outs of retrofitting a theater for 3D. I have no idea how that works. But they're making pretty good profit right now. I feel like they could put a little bit of money into that. And that could, I don't know if it'd work, but they could put a whole Muppet area into that little corner. Because there's nothing
else. It opens up a whole new footprint.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
It totally does.
So
they should take Waldorf and Statler and put it in the queue for the roller coaster. And then just have them making fun of everybody.
But Kyla, they can't because they're bolted to the floor, you idiot.
I wish they'd move it to Pittsburgh.
Where's nice and cold? So what are our thoughts on the overall plan? Do we want to see a Muppet Land there, Muppet Vision 3D? I know we're all like, yes, it's nostalgic, but we're okay with it going away. Should they make it into a Muppet area? I guess Heather kind of had a point where this is a way to introduce the Muppets to a new generation because small children won't be able to ride this coaster if they unless they just completely revamp the coaster, which they won't. It's too much money. Small kids won't be able to ride this coaster, but
and it's the thrill ride. They're not going to change it because they still need the thrill ride in that park.
Yes,
correct.
They need the thrill ride.
Can I just ask a question though? You know how for Jollywood, Miss Piggy and Kermit host it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they were testing that out for Jollywood last year and this year to see how it goes for a stage show to then turn it into like a stage show for them?
I think that's a good
back
point.
There?
That's a really good point.
That's a good thought.
And then if you do a meet and greet, because you can't meet and greet with them, but if you did a meet and greet with like the little Muppet babies for the kids in that section, and then I don't know,
like Sweetums. Sweetums.
I mean, I went the day after they announced it.
Sweetums.
I've got a picture with Sweetums. I've totally done Sweetums.
I would absolutely
totally done a picture with him.
I would meeting Sweetums would be like a bucket list. That is just huge. I would love to meet Sweetums.
It was an after hours. It was an after hours event, and that's why they
Kermit
had
and Piggy walking around at one point early on in the Hollywood Studios days, MGM days. They had them walking.
Yeah, they did. I have pictures of that too, and they had the Stars and Motor Cars parade. Kermit and Piggy drove a Stars and Motor Cars.
Very weird looking to see Piggy being 5 foot tall. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's a little strange, but it's fine.
It would be cute to have like a Muppet corner. A Muppet corner
would be really cute.
Park.
A Muppet Land would be great. A Muppet Vision Land or whatever you call it. I think it would be. I think it would be tremendous. And I'm not discounting the fact they could. I mean, I think they could easily do it. And I say easily. They've already committed money where else. Right. But this would be incredible fan service. This would be incredible. Reach out to the fans, going, "Hey guys, I know you love Muppet Vision. We're taking it away from you in its present form, but we're going to make this a Muppet area. So and for people who don't like the Muppets, like Kyla, you can just walk right by it and never even go down.
You don't
have
to.
And ready?
Yes.
We're also not acknowledging what else the Muppets are. Fraggle Rock.
Hello? Yes.
And they just filmed a new season of Fraggle Rock. So I'm just saying.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
But does Disney own Fraggle Rock? That's the question. They own the rights to the Muppets themselves, but I don't know if they own Fraggle. Like they don't own Sesame Street. That's Children's Children Workshop. That's
I don't know.
It's connected, but it's a different entity. I don't know if the Henson Company still owns Fraggle or not. But
I didn't think Fraggle Rock was Disney. Is it on Disney Plus?
It's Jim Henson.
It's on Disney Plus.
So. Fraggle Rock is?
Well, if it's on Disney Plus,
I know it was on HBO Max for the longest time.
It was on HBO Max for the longest time.
It's the Jim Henson Company.
Yeah.
So,
but to that, I will say that in recent years, they have really worked to kind of resolve, because there was a huge rift between the companies, Disney and Jim Henson. Jim Henson was like, the company after Jim died, they were like, we don't care if you take out Muppets at all. We want all of it gone. And Disney wouldn't do that. Of course it worked out. But I think that they really kind of eased that rift, whatever. And I do understand the legacy of Jim Henson, because this is the last thing he really worked on before he passed away. And there was the whole park was going to have a little land, and now it's all gone. That whole idea is gone. They could retrofit some of that to this. Like Mama Melrose was going to be a Muppet restaurant where Rizzo the Rat was going to zoom around a little, like a coaster or whatever, to the tables and stuff. Again, technology back then may not have nearly been good enough to do that, but But yeah, I can see them.
They might
I
have
would love to
figured
see
it
them
out.
do some of that. So final question on this whole thing, and this is a question I guess I have specifically for Heather to see how she answers this. But one of the things that bothers me, and I see a lot of people say this too, is why. I know your answer is going to be they have a plan, debatable. But why does Disney feel the need to replace things when they have open space they can just add on to? And that's one of my questions too, because this to me easily could have gone into Launch Bay. Because there's and Jen and I did a whole episode about buildings that are fairly empty around the park and develop an entire episode about what could go in those buildings. And we're I see Disney a lot of times removing things to add things in there to retheme stuff when I'm like, just add on. And if Muppet Vision 3D is not working, it's like you're looking at long term going, you know what, this is something just not working for us. Replace it with something else Muppety, and do something else, or retheme the whole video, or redo the whole movie or something. But I do get a sense that sometimes I'm like, why are we taking things out and putting things there when you have space and you have?
I think that's a good question.
So
it is a good question. I also think that from the Monsters Inc. point of view, everybody has to remember that coaster has to have a certain amount of ground that is structurally safe. And living here in Florida, everything is like a freaking pond.
You say like it's living on they're on a swamp or something.
Yeah. So they might have tested the ground. Maybe that was the original plan, right? And then even after they knew it, and like obviously even before D23 announced it, maybe structurally they had to move it there, so they have to shift it.
That is a good point. I mean, there are things behind the scenes we'll never know the answers to.
You'll never know the answers to.
So.
But why they don't, I don't, you just have to, I just keep saying, like, you have to trust the process. And I really just need everybody to trust the process, because there is so much more coming that, like, nobody, like, they haven't even said. Like, they have just such big plans in this 10-year plan. Like, it's going to be insane. So just trust the process. But they do listen to the fans. Like, I don't think they expected all those people to say, like, well, I don't want Muppet 3D to go away. So they're saying, like, oh, well, we'll find a good way to preserve it. I mean, maybe they weren't thinking of that, but now they have to think of it. But then again, like, I went over the day after it was announced. There was no one in there.
Right.
Yeah, no one was like rushing to be like, I have to see it one last time.
So, well, and I think that Disney does listen to the fans, and I agree with you completely. They're listening to the fans about what fans want. I think they have a problem communicating to the fans in a way that lets fans know, okay, we don't like what's going on, but we trust what's happening. We know you guys got a plan, because Disney releases little snippets of a plan. And of course, it's like, no, we should not overreact to things. We should say, okay, we only have a snippet of a plan. We don't see what's coming long term. Let's hold off before we make judgment. You should know better than that. Everybody's going to make a judgment. And while you can't cater to that completely, at some point you have to say, okay, people are going to completely lose their minds over this. Let's give a little extra something to placate those people, the ones we can placate, so that way they're not freaking out. Because and I feel like they have an issue to talk. Like, the four of us need to be in their HR. We need to consult with their HR going, or their PR, not HR, their PR, and say, you know what? I know you're going to make this announcement. Let's all talk. Let's the four of us talk to you about this, about how this is going to go online and on the boards and on Twitters and on the.
I mean, I think that's what Heather's trying to do.
I mean, for real,
She's trying.
We just all need to meet up at Starbucks. Let's just have a little conversation.
Call Josh. We'll all be down there next week. We can break away for 30 minutes to meet up at Creations if we need to.
I'll see what I can do.
But all right, so there's that. And it's Thanksgiving today. If you guys are listening to the episode on the day it's released, it is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And we are headed into the holiday season, and it is just blowing right by us. This year is going completely crazy right now. And here we are at holiday. It's Christmas time. And so I wanted to give a little thanks. I want to kind of go around and just kind of talk about some fun, thankful things. And of course, we can say we're thankful for our jobs, and I'm thankful for our family, and we're thankful for the people around us. And, I'm thankful for this wonderful team we have and Kyla. But let's just let's talk about Disney. Let's talk about travel. Jen, what are you thankful for?
Oh, gosh. Well, aside from, I mean, I think we're obviously all going to say we're thankful for our families. We're thankful for, there are all these things, right? But I am actually, this is going to be cheesy, I'm thankful for this team, like the Upon a Star team, because they're all amazing. So, but if you're looking for something Disney specific,
Kyla, that means you too.
Yeah, and Kyla. But in Disney terms, I am very thankful that they decided not to get rid of the Muppets altogether. So,
Oh, there you go.
Good thought. Good thought. Yes, and I think that's a good thing because unlike some of the other things they've gotten rid of, like Maelstrom, I think people would have really had a big issue with
So mad
Muppets going
about
away.
that.
You know,
I know I'm so bad about Maelstrom
yeah.
too.
Nobody cares
She
about
says it like
Maelstrom.
every time she's
I
in
know.
that pod.
Nobody cared about Maelstrom. You could walk on that ride all the time, and people are like, "We love Maelstrom." It's
I
like,
love it.
it's like the backlot tour. Nobody cared about the backlot tour until it went away, and people were like, "We love the backlot tour." No, you didn't. Otherwise, they would have kept it. So, I mean, they're not getting rid of Space Mountain, right? Because people love it so much. Whatever. I am thankful that Disney figured out, and when I say figured out, it's in loose terms, but figured out the Fast Pass Genie Plus system. I feel like the system, whether you like the pricing or not,
Yeah.
I feel as if they have a system now in place that can stay there and grow long term. Because I feel like they were trying to figure out what to do with Genie. They had it where you could do it beforehand, and all of a sudden you couldn't, and you had to do it the day of, which was a total fiasco. I think for like 2 years, it was just everybody's up at 6:45 in the morning. We're all texting each other, going, "All right, are you getting Guardians? I'm getting. Okay, what are you getting? All right, okay, so I'll go. Okay, I'm gonna get this. Let's get Big Thunder. Okay, no, not Big Thunder. Just a whole thing. And now you do it ahead of time. Again, you may not like the pricing. You may not like the way it's laid out, but I am glad they kind of figured out a system of like, okay, this is our system. This is what's going to work here. And now we can stop talking about it. We can stop complaining about what they might do. It is what it is. It's a paid fast pass system, which is what we thought they would do 5 years ago. And now they brought it back as a paid fast pass system, and it is what it is. So I'm thankful they got that figured out. So let's move on. Stop complaining, Kyla. Kyla, what are you thankful for?
Aside from this team, which I can't talk about fully right now because I will cry and I do not cry. But Heather and Jen have heard my true feelings about the team and why it means so much to me. I have to say that although they went into bankruptcy, I am thankful that Spirit did not go out of business.
Spirit Halloween, yeah, that's true. They're still opening up shops, and now they have a Spirit Christmas, which is nice.
Spirit Airlines. I mean,
Spirit
Oh my
Airlines, gotcha.
gosh, Kyle.
they're like my travel partner, and I was very concerned that day. But Susan made me feel better, saying that like Delta and American and United have all gone into bankruptcy, and look, they're doing great.
Yep.
Doing great. Nobody's doing great in the airlines, but they're still in business. So me and my Go bundle, when I fly down next week, are going to be totally fine. So thank you.
No
Spirit
JetBlue for you. Do you have a backup airline? Like, do you have another airline?
JetBlue, but when Frank flies with me.
Because Frank won't fly Spirit. That's the best part.
Because Frank won't fly Spirit. So we just use his points when he flies with me. But when I fly by myself, like Spirit is always the cheapest out of Boston. So
I feel like they need to hire you as their hype girl because you love them
Yes.
so much.
You love Spirit. You absolutely
Like you
Spirit.
love them.
Seriously, they should just make you their ambassador.
I got such a
For
great
real.
deal next week. I got streaming. I got the big front seat. I got snacks in my little bundle that I got. Like it's a fantastic deal.
And a buzz box or buzz ball or whatever they call it.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna find out what's
Although I will say that if they're like, yeah, what kept us out of bankruptcy is we no longer stop the buzz balls, you're gonna probably be upset about that. You're gonna be like,
I mean, they have tequila in it, so I'll be fine. But
because you were keeping him in business with us. So, Heather, what are you thankful for?
You know what? I'm gonna get sentimental because that's what I do.
Do it.
I am thankful that Disney has finally listened to the fans and is carrying on Walt's legacy with the new show and animatronic and everything that they're going to release in Disneyland to pay homage to him, his story of how the company began and why all of us love it so much. To again, like I said, we're going back to the Muppets, to introduce it to a whole new generation so that for like the next 70 years, like our kids are on a podcast saying, oh my gosh, well, guess what they're doing now? Like I'm going to get teary eyed about it again. That and that short film and that Walt announcement this year. Anytime I think about it, I just,
Oh, you know what I just thought of, Heather? It just came to mind. So one of the things, like, it makes me very jealous that Disneyland gets the Walt over there. But I'm also okay with it because I like having exclusivity in the park. It would be nonsensical to have Walt over there and Walt over here. Like, Walt, you have to go there to see Walt. You have to go, right? But I'm like, what can we do here? And I'm like, you could do Roy, but it's almost like doing a Walt. And people were like, I'd rather have Walt instead. The Magic Eye Theater, the Pixar Film Festival Theater, take that out. put in
Yes.
2 Sherman Brother animatronics on pianos, and the screen have some of their greatest hits, and like they're playing and have like Mary Poppins and have like It's a Small World, and you could like 3 songs at a time. You don't know what show you're gonna get. There may be like 4 different rotating shows, and the Sherman Brothers rise up out of the stage, and the animatronics, all the animatronics are doing is just leaning over doing this and smiling at the crowd, but the music is playing
That
behind
would be
it.
so cute.
That would be fantastic.
Amazing.
I love that idea.
I
That's a
think
really
that
good
is
idea.
I think
Yes.
and that
I
would
would
be
I
our
would totally
animatronics.
go see that. I would love that.
Oh, absolutely. And people in Disneyland would be like, why can't we get the Sherman Brothers animatronics? Because you got Walt.
Wait, so they get Walt and then we get the Sherman Brothers.
Yes,
and I'm
exactly.
Like,
So
I'm
that
down
makes
with
I
it
that.
mean,
something.
Carousel of Progress is here, so it can start off with that, and then
Oh
maybe
my
they can
God, that
expand
first
the land.
stage- on
But
that
I am
first
thinking of doing it at
stage.
Epcot because you have a theater right there. It's
Oh,
already
that's
built.
true.
It's
That's
already
true.
there with a
Who
screen
goes to
3D projector.
Pixar? I mean,
Yeah,
who
that's
goes
true.
to
Exactly. It's available on Genie Plus or Lightning Lane's single day pass
Mhm.
thingy if you want that, whatever. So
Can I speak on behalf of me and David of what else we are thankful for? And he's totally going to agree with me on this.
go for it.
We are thankful for the fact that we created the Maleficent coaster how many years ago, and Disney's now doing it. You're welcome.
They listen to our show. I'm just saying. I'm not saying they listen to it every week, but we know that Jen is very connected, so she knows people, and she knows that people have listened to this show that are up the Disney chain or whatever. So my guess is they're listening to an episode, they're listening to our Muppets episode, and they're like, Muppets and Rock and Roller. Did you hear what they just said? Muppets and Rock Roller Coaster. Somebody get Josh on the phone. Hey, call him in. Josh, this is a great
I
idea.
mean, it's
Let's do
okay. You
this.
guys can say we're brilliant because I mean,
Yeah, and
we've had some.
somebody was
fine.
like, Zach was listening, going, "Did you hear what Heather and David just said on this podcast? A Maleficent coaster. No, seriously, write that down. Maleficent coaster. Let's talk about this.
With the
Pass-
animatronic.
I'm gonna forward this link to
Oh,
you
yeah,
so
with
you can
an
listen to this
animatronic.
episode. I mean, it's perfect. It's
I
great.
will know that Zach listens if he puts Sandstorm on my Guardians.
I don't think that's gonna work.
First of all, he's in charge of global now, so I think he's above Epcot, but we'll make sure we tell him, Kyla.
This is gonna sound morbid, but follow me here. In 35 years, when we're all old and gray, and all of us are beginning to go to each other's funerals, we're all going to Kyla's funeral. If we don't have Sandstorm playing at that funeral, I'm gonna get so mad. I'm gonna hit somebody with my cane, and they'll be like, "No, we need respect." Yes, you need respectful music, but play Sandstorm. Serious. I'm just gonna put it on an iPod, like just hold it up, hopefully hitting the Bluetooth and let it play or whatever. But my iPhone, 74 or something. Jen, what are you thankful for? Let's go around the room one more time.
If Jen dies first, right? Jen, I
Why
am.
am I dying?
Listen,
Wait,
if
this
Jen
is
or
30
I,
years.
Guys.
I know
You'll
it
be-
is morbid, but
You'll be
listen,
60.
Jen,
Come on.
Okay.
if you or I die first, David is to play September because we will be able to see her face go.
And whichever one of us is in the room with her can go. And the other one of us were looking at from above, like,
And then haunt me forever because I hate that song.
we're gonna
That's
like show
right.
up in your
Okay.
dreams and go.
We'll just play the entire Guardians playlist with September in between each song. So it's like Iran,
God.
September.
And
Everybody wants to rule
Kyla-
the world, September.
Kyla-
Disco Inferno, September.
Heaven help you if Heather and I both go first, because then we'll do it in tandem.
It's just gonna be on the radio all the time. You're gonna like make it be on the radio all the time. I can't get away from the playlist, by the way. At the Girls Talent Show Friday night, this 8-year-old got up there and sang "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" or whatever
she
that
did.
song is called.
Yes,
and I'm
she
like,
did.
you have got to be kidding me with
It's a
this
great song.
soundtrack.
It's like an awesome song.
Pretty awesome.
We'll be doing
Aw.
conga at your funeral just for you, by the way.
Just for
Conga
you.
is like, I will take conga. That's fine. the
It's
only-
Kyla's funeral. Everybody, let's do the conga. Get up. Jen, what are you thankful for? Go around the room one more time. So
Sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Compose.
Compose. We're good. All right. The next thing I'm thankful for, amongst other things, gosh, I can think of, you know what? That's what I'm going with. I am thankful that Disney has put on the burners with some of these new announcements. I'm thankful that D23 was full
Mhm.
of fantastic announcements this year, which, listen, I was holding out hope on the other years, but they were less than exciting.
Right.
Okay.
Was
Right.
less-
Like,
Yeah.
But this past year, I am very thankful that Disney is already acting upon all of those amazing announcements that they have made.
same, because that I was ready to come on this podcast
I know.
and take Disney to the woodshed. I was
know.
ready to go postal on Disney. They've been like,
Mhm.
we're gonna blue sky something that might be coming down the road.
Yeah.
heard
No,
about it
I
2
was
years
glad
ago,
whenever they made the announcements, I'm like, okay, yep. And I was like, okay, this was a good one. We're good.
And we know that not everything there'll be some things that will fall by the wayside. But if they can get
Well, or
75% of what they announced, it'll be great. It'll be perfect. It'll be awesome. So
But the fact that they're moving on it, that's the big thing. Like they're all like permits are in place. Dirt is moving, you know, if
he
they come
had
across...
all for one swear it to all of us.
Yeah, right.
He said, I swear.
I mean, all
the
for one
fans
said it.
Fans are like, Disney, we want some stuff. And Disney's like, I can love you like that. Here you go.
Yep.
Kyla, that's a song that All for One also sang. Besides that, swear they sang.
I liked All for One.
I'm just letting you know because you're more of like a emo girl from the early 2000s.
Like,
and
what?
Stuff, so,
what am I, David?
So here's what I'm thankful for, and follow me on this, okay? So I'm going to give you an example. Back in the early 90s, when we had the WWF, WWE, they were kind of, whatever. Here comes this company, WCW. They put forth all these new ideas, whatever. WWF they were freaking out because they're like, we had to do something. Then they gave us The Rock. They gave us Stone Cold Steve Austin. They improved everything. Why? Competition. Universal is giving us Epic Universe, which I'm thankful for too. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be, dare I say, epic. But I think the competition is going to be massive for Disney because I think Disney is no longer can sit back and go, you know what, we're Disney, we're awesome, we're gonna be okay. I think they're looking at it going, you know what, we're gonna up our game now. Not we have to, or maybe we should. They're now gonna up their game. I think Villains Land is going to be incredible. I think it's going to be completely immersive. And I think each land they build from here on out is going to be somewhat immersive. And Disney has that's something that Universal doesn't have in terms of size. They can grow out. They can basically build an entire other theme park, like twice the size of Epic, and be just fine. And still have plenty of room to grow. I think they can build like 2 more theme parks before they start getting into space issues if they wanted to. Money's a problem, obviously, but I am thankful for competition. I am thankful that we are now in the age of theme parks trying to one up each other, because we're going to win. The fans are going to win for that. I mean, we're all going to win. We're going to go to Epic and be like, this is great. And even Heather will be like, yeah, it was fine. Yes, admittedly, it was okay. But that means in 3 or 4 years, when all the Disney stuff starts rolling out, it's going to be even better because they're going to look at Epic and they're going to go, all right, let's make their stuff even better. I'm thankful for competition. It's going to be great. Kyla, what are you thankful for?
I mean, aside from family and Upon a Star and my spirit, I will say that I am thankful for DinoLand closing because I think it is a giant waste of space. And I think...
can I amend mine? Good. I've got a bonus one, David.
Okay, that's fine.
Bonus
That's fine.
points. Jen's got bonus points.
Got a bonus Jonas over there. Go ahead.
I think it's a giant waste of space. I think all those stupid carnival games and charging more is just like a total racket. The dinosaur ride is fine. It's like half broken. There's like nothing else over there. They already closed Primeval Whirl. Like, and the Triceratops, like we've already talked about, you just melt in the sun, is basically Dumbo with the horn on its nose. So like, I'm just thankful that DinoLand is going away and that we're getting something in Encanto because I love Encanto.
It's going to be a boat ride. It's going to be great. So.
It's going to be fantastic. And my Indiana Jones. I mean, we named the dog Indiana.
It may be a different maybe the same track, but it's going to be a different story. So it's not going to be the same ride.
It's going to be awesome. Like, I grew up on Indiana Jones, and that's like childhood to me. So to bring like something in that reminds me of childhood and is nostalgic, and to Heather's point, a whole new generation is going to love it. I'm excited for that. So I'm thankful that Disney is making the change and getting rid of the dinos.
You know, if Disney's listening, the one thing I think they should adjust is the Boneyard. Keep the Boneyard concept, retheme it to whatever you need Tropical Americas, because I've heard so many parents say they love the Boneyard for their kids, and they're sad because the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground went away a long time ago, so that's been gone forever. Boneyard was really the one major playground area they could take the kids and let them play, so I really would love to see Disney take that, just retheme it however they want to, make it Encanto or make it Zootopia or whatever, and keep that playground concept just for the parents, because even our kid loved it for a while. So,
I think it would be funny if it was Indiana Jones theme and they had like the ball rolling down after the kids and like a snake pit. It would be hilarious.
Have the snake pit with the rope bridges across, and kids.
Yes.
I mean, if the kids fell over into the snakes, well, they should have paid attention. So it's
it would be like, they're not going to do that, but it would be really hilarious to do an Indy Jones themed like little boneyard for kids.
It wouldn't take much to do that. Just turn it Indiana Jones Boneyard.
I mean, literally, the theming would not even have to change that much.
Literally, just change the sign.
That's
all you have to do. Is change
it would literally be the signage.
Done. Disney, we just saved you $17 million.
You're welcome.
What are you thankful for?
Welcome.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm thankful for all things Disney and the fact that you people keep trying to attempt to keep the faith, even though I keep screaming at it till I'm blue in the face. Just keep the faith. I am thankful. I am thankful that they have finally announced that they are going to put that new hotel in the space that they've been working on for a couple months. And I'm just like, can someone just please announce it? Like that they're going to put a new hotel there? I Here's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that they didn't announce all of the announcements at D23. And I'm thankful for all the announcements that we are going to get in 2025 to compete with Epic, even though Universal did do one thing correct. And I'm going to give them props for this.
What?
The Wicked experience down there. The whole I'm for Wicked 24/7. I love it. I'm okay with that. They could turn that into a land and you would see me go to Universal, people.
Why didn't they do that instead of
I don't know.
Your dragon?
That's my whole thing. My whole thing is that they own the
Right.
rights to it. Why did they do the scary section and do the Train Your Dragon? Why didn't they turn that section into like a whole Wicked theme land where you're like flying on a broomstick with
Oh my gosh, that would be like amazing.
You
That
could do
would
like
be
a bubble
amazing.
ride.
Not saying they can't. I mean, there's still room at both parks existing right now to put stuff.
That
like
would be
Simpsons is
that
not
would
going to
be
be there forever.
amazing.
They'll take Simpsons out, put something else in.
No,
I mean,
Simpsons
gotta
needs to go. I'm sorry,
So-
Simpsons needs to go.
Jen, you had one more thing you wanted to throw out there.
Oh, your bonus point.
Your bonus.
The bonus
yes.
point.
Here
Yes.
she goes.
I am thankful that It's a Bug's Life is going to close.
I was just gonna say it's a Bug's Life.
It is giving me life. That I will be able to go into the Tree of Life and not experience that awful show. That's all.
That will be a cute show. I'm excited for that
Yes.
one.
Yes, next Christmas. So, all right, if we have a trip next Christmas as a team, we can all go to the former Bugs Life spot because they'll have it open probably next November-ish. It's a guess. I don't know. No, not for sure. But and yes, I am very thankful for this team. Of course, for those listening, we are all part of Upon a Star Travel and Concierge. This is not a travel agency podcast, but we're connected to travel agencies, a travel agent because we're all travel agents. Jen is the owner. And she is the best travel agency owner that I've ever known and worked with. She's beloved by so many people across the country. And I don't say that just complimentary. I mean, people love Jen. They really do because of who she is. She's a great podcast co-host. So I'm thankful that we have now done 232 episodes of this podcast. And I'm thankful for Kyla and Heather both being on this show. Of course, Kyla I talk to basically every day. We're like yin and yang over there. And Heather she's our Disney liaison. She's the one that we're like, oh, Disney, what are you doing? Heather's like, keep the faith, guys. We can do it. I trust them. They're going to do it. It's going to be awesome. She's the Disney cheerleader. She, of course, is one of the top 1% Disney fans of the 20 million Disney fans. It's on Facebook. It's Facebook official. And Disney actually said it. Heather, you're one of our 1% of top 1% of fans, which is 1,000 people or 100, whatever people.
Facebook official, if you will.
Facebook
Whatever
official.
came across, I literally said an explicative and I was like, I mean, hello. I live and breathe.
You're
for
like,
you.
I've been
Of
that.
course
Why
I
are you
am.
not now giving me props for this?
But
Whatever.
thank you for giving me the award.
So yes, and I am thankful for the people listening because I get comments all the time from people. Sometimes I didn't know they listened to the show. They're like, "Oh yeah, I was listening to so and so episode." I'm like, "You listen to the show? Awesome, that's fantastic. Thank you." So, we have a couple of people that listen to every week. Our friend Melissa, who's been on our show before, she's a avid listener, and she always shares the stuff. Always shares her stuff.
Thank you, Melissa.
She's always commenting about I love Heather when she said this and so, or Kyla was really funny about blah blah blah. I'm like, first of all, Kyla's not funny, but so correcting her there. But no, we have a great podcast team here and a great podcast, and I'm just thankful for all of it. I'm thankful just to be here to do this. So yeah. Anything else from the Peanut Gallery before we wrap this thing up?
That was very heartfelt, David.
Wait, Kyla said earlier, Jen and Heather know my thankful blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, I've never heard this, and so you're gonna have to. You can give it on the air if you'd like. Otherwise,
We witnessed her cry.
So.
She does. Cry,
I didn't cry. I made you guys cry.
You did. You did.
But yeah, because Kyla doesn't give a whole lot of. She doesn't do a whole lot of heartfelt stuff. Although I will say there was one time when she had a doctor's appointment, and she was messaging me whatever. She's like, I was just telling you about my doctor's appointment. She goes, because you're one of my best friends, and I need you to tell you. And I'm like, that's so nice. Thank you, Kyla. Look at you being all heartfelt.
It shouldn't have been a surprise. Like I talked to you on like 9 different platforms at the same time all day. Like,
pretty much. It is a little ridiculous. We have like 4 conversations on 4 or 5 different platforms. Always studying
you have
going,
to keep them
where are we
separate.
posting? Where are we posting? Yes, separate.
Yes.
So anyway, so that is our show, folks. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Jen, where can we find you online to follow along next week whenever we're all down there?
All right. Well, you can find me at Upon a Star Jen, or my personal Instagram is at Jen_Novotny.
And Heather, where can we find you, top 1%er? You are the 1%er, by the way.
You should change your Disney
Your
handle
wife
now.
commented that, and I like laughed out loud when I read it. You can find me at the Moana Mom on Instagram and Facebook.
Also, Stephanie is thankful for y'all too. She loves you guys. She really does. She
She's
thinks
the
you guys
best.
are great.
She's great.
She thinks you guys are great, and Kyla. So, Kyla, where can we find you?
You can find me at Disney Geek 27 on Instagram and Kyla Milberg, Travel Agent at Upon a Star on Facebook.
Perfect. Hope you guys are all writing those down. You got a trio of things to follow there. Follow me, of course, at The Magic on a Dollar on Instagram, and of course, on Facebook, Magic on a Dollar, Disney on a Dollar, and the podcast, the MSC Podcast, on all the things, and Upon a Star Travel on all the things. We'll all be doing stuff next week. We'll be at Jollywood. We'll be at the Christmas party. We'll be eating at the Cake Bake Shop. We've got some other fun stuff planned as well. I know some of y'all going to an Edison party over at Disney Springs. I'll be hitting Hoop-de-Doo Review. So we'll be doing all kinds of different things and reviews and whatevers and such and things. And so make sure you guys are following along. Kyla, Heather, Jen, thank you so much for being part of the show. It's great. And for everybody out there, hey, don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.